This. All right. So let me get up here on the big board. Woo! All right. Welcome everybody. So I am on. So get on join.me so you can actually see me do my thing. Let me move one of my eagles. Hey, eagle. Okay. And then my pyramid. See this pyramid? I got this pyramid. All USA pyramid. It's a pyramid. I love pyramids. Pyramids rock. Pyramids powerful. People don't like to say anything's a pyramid. I love pyramids, man. There are good pyramids and bad pyramids. One of the bad pyramids is your org chart and your job. Your org chart. That's a pyramid. Like how many vice presidents make more money than the president? How many managers make more money than their vice presidents? So I'm saying that's like a pyramid, gang. A pyramid. Okay, I like this pyramid, the All USA pyramid, where we got CFG, Mutual of Omaha, Foresters, all contributing to help us build Alliance Life USA. All USA, the pyramid. Okay, this is the kind of rock you want to own a piece of. Let me tell you, it's a piece of the pyramid. You get to own the piece of the pyramid. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, this talk today is based on this book that I'm reading. Actually, okay, so I'm going to promote this book. It's called, let's move it up here, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Okay, The Slight Edge, Jeff Olson. This book rocks. Okay, I'm going to reference some other books, but this book talks about the compounding of the right things you do every day. I talked a little bit about this last time I was on a conference call, but I'm revealing the book. See, I don't know anything myself. When I was born, I knew nothing except how to cry. I think the only fear that I was born with, that you were born with, is the fear of falling, right? The fear of falling is the only fear that you're born with. All other fears that you have are learned fears, right? So I was born upside down naked. what a picture, right? Me upside down naked and to a slap upside my butt. It's kind of woke me up. Got started breathing, and I knew nothing and only one fear. And then over the course of my life, living my life, got me to the point where I was broke, busted, and disgusted with my life not going anywhere. And you know what's interesting about that is in the failure situation I was in was really accumulation of the things I did or did not do over the course of my prior 36 years, or 37, let's see, I was 39 when I got in this business. So the prior 38 years, okay, I learned some good stuff, I learned some bad stuff, but where I was because of the things I did, the decisions I made every day. And it was the accumulation of those decisions every day that put me in a spot where I was living a life of quiet desperation. I had no future, I had no dream. Right? I have no dream of what I wanted to be, but I had a desire to be better, to put myself in a position better than where I was at the time. I got to the point where I was sick and tired of being 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 sick and tired of where I was. And if something was going to change, something had to change, right? And so what had to change was the things I did every day. The decisions I made every day, because I kept making the wrong decisions and I kept making the right decisions. The only problem is I made 51% of the wrong decisions and 49% of the right ones. Well, that little 1% difference makes all the difference in the world over the course of the previous 38 years. Does that make sense? Where you are today is a summation of all the things you've done and not done, all the decisions, daily decisions that you've made, both the good ones and the bad ones. And those decisions are influenced by the people you hang around, that influences how you think about it, the people that you associate with it, that sometimes causes a good attitude or a bad attitude. You know, positive actions, negative actions, positive decisions, negative decisions. You're influenced by that, which influences your actions. And the books you read. because the books you read have such a powerful impact on what you do. But if you don't implement the stuff in the books that you read, if you're reading good books in a positive way, where your daily actions compounded bring you to either a successful life or unsuccessful life, that is the key, the turning point, is what you do with those things that you learn in those books every day, assuming you're reading. Now, if you're reading Sports Illustrated, or if you're reading a romance novel, okay, chances are, okay, especially some of those novels that are being read out there, 50 Shades of Grey, right? That if you start implementing those things that you learn there, it can lead to some bad stuff, But, that's if you're reading. But then again, you're the one in control of what you're reading. That's a habit too. What a concept, okay? So here's the thing. You are in total control of those things. This is you, okay? You can only control what you do. You can't control all those things around you. Remember I talked about that the other day? All these things, the economy, whether some journalist gets his head chopped off. You know what's interesting about that is I'm so anti-news. I don't want to watch the news. Why? Because it has a negative influence on me. I hear all the bad stuff. I mean, I didn't know that some journalists got their head chopped off until someone said, hey, did you hear that thing going on in Syria? I go, what thing going on in Syria? And they said, well, the guy got his head chopped off. I go, golly, that sucks. Then I find out that our president doesn't have a strategy. And then I find out that another journalist had his head cut off. And like all this negative stuff. And it's like, okay, so what do I do with that information? Right? I pray for their families. I pray for their souls. I pray for the situation in Syria. I pray that our leadership decides to do something about it. But that's all I can do. I'm not going to go over there and I'm not going to fight that battle. But all I can do is all I can do. And then here's the sad thing is I had to ponder it. But then I had to have the negative. And it sucked. So all that stuff's around you. Okay, but all you can control here is what's inside the circle. Control you. And that is so empowering when you think about what you can control and the power of what you can do on a daily basis. Okay, so here's the deal. We know that everything you do makes a difference. Today matters. See, sometimes we have a foot in the past, and being in the past is something that can be very defeating from day one, because when you live in the past and you focus on past failures, right, and focus on past discouragements, and you focus on what people said about you in the past, it will forever affect your future. What's interesting about the past is the past is the past. The past already is gone. What you decide to do today will affect what happens tomorrow. The problem is sometimes we're so focused on tomorrow, we're so worried about tomorrow that we don't do the right things today, because worries about tomorrow causes paralysis today to do something about that tomorrow. Worried about that mortgage payment, worried about, oh my gosh, what if my daughter or son does this or that? What if, and then you get stuck not doing the things today to change your future. The future hasn't happened yet. So what I'm saying is today, right now, this moment is what you live your life in. You live your life by your daily decisions that you make in the moment. Success is built in the moment, not in the past, not in the future. It's in the moment. I like to talk about this story. I was going through some allergy problems. Now, I took allergy shots like, 20 years ago. And I did the whole regimen, daily shots to weekly shots to like a booster every month. And my allergies just kind of disappeared, because I got acclimated by them injecting me with all the allergens that I was allergic to. And I had no problems for the longest time, for years. And then, maybe 20 years later, I started having allergy problems. I go, what's up with this, man? What is up with this? I took shots 20 years ago. I should not have problems. And so I called the allergist and I said, hey man, can I come in? And so I go in there and I go, I got shots like 20 years ago. I have no idea why I'm allergic, what I'm allergic to now that's new. Maybe something at home, whatever. And the guy told me something that just blew me away. He goes, well, Alex, you're lucky. I go, why? He goes, that you didn't have to, that you're not allergic to anything only after 20 years. I go, well, why is that? He goes, well, do you know that after 7 years, every cell in your body is brand new? I go, you're kidding me. Because your body regenerates itself. So after 7 years, your every cell is brand new. I'm going, seriously? I go, you're kids. You're saying that after I got my allergy shots, I could have started becoming allergic after 7 years. He goes, yeah, absolutely. And I'm thinking, that's probably why you're still in business. It's kind of like insurance, right? Everyone dies. Well, allergists love that part, you know. It's the way that our bodies are made. Anyway, it's like we're a brand new human being, right? And I'm going, every 7 years, and that just kind of blew me away because I started thinking, wow, if we're like a brand new person, what is common in those 7 years? The common thing is our knowledge, experience, and memories of what we did in the past. And by focusing on our knowledge, memories, and experience could be a negative thing because it'll always encumber you. Do you know that you decide to be a different person, you decide to be have a different life can be done right now, right this second? Because the past does not necessarily have to equal the future. Okay? So this is what's powerful about this thing about you controlling you. Okay? And why this book, The Slight Edge, okay, is incredible. The slight edge. What is the slight edge? What Jeff Olson talks about here is a whole strategy of how you can change your life in the future by doing the little things every day, by making that slight billionth of bolt decision to do the thing today that will impact tomorrow, right? And so he talks about this idea of compounding, okay? Compounding the things you do every day. Now, before I get into that, what kinds of things are we talking about? Well, the things you can do every day, like for example, just let's take your diet, for example, okay? Now, you can, like lunchtime's coming up for a lot of us in a couple hours. For me, it's in about 4 hours. And you decide what to have for lunch. You can stop through Wendy's and have a hamburger, or McDonald's, have a hamburger, cheeseburger, or you can go to your local supermarket and go through the salad line and then, you know, put your salad together and have it weighed and probably pay the same amount of money. So that $6, you can buy $6 worth of salad or $6 worth of cheeseburger. Super size with a Diet Coke so that you can cancel out all those calories. I've been there. I know what goes through your mind. I could buy a regular Coke or a Diet Coke. Well, since I'm having a cheeseburger, I'll buy a Diet Coke so I can feel better about this decision, right? Well, the only problem with that decision is that it seems like a meaningless decision today in the moment, because how could a burger hurt? How could a cheeseburger hurt my health like right now, you know, versus a salad? The only problem with that is that you do that decision every day. The next day comes, where do I go for lunch? I could go through the salad bar at the grocery store, or I can just go through because it's quick, I'll go through the drive-through at McDonald's. Or I know, I can go to Five Guys. Woo! I love Five Guys. Who was talking to me about, oh, Matt was telling me about an app that you get on your phone that you can pre-order Five Guys. I'm going, dude, I do not need that application on my phone. I know Matt's cracking up. So am I. It's like, golly. I was thinking, I need an application where I can order a salad at Kroger's. I can, you know, put all the salad stuff and then have it ready for me and make it weigh only like 0.75 pounds, you know. Anyway, but you do make that decision the next day, next day, next day. By the end of your life, okay, by having that hamburger every day, you know, you'll have a heart attack at 60. But that one decision you made by having the salad every day, man, who knows? You'll die of prostate cancer when you're 95. You know what I'm saying? Because all men eventually get cancer in their prostates at some time. Okay, so here's the deal. It's that daily decision. So why is it so hard to be successful? It isn't hard to be successful. The problem with being successful, okay, the problem with being successful is that it's just as easy to make the wrong decisions every day as it is to make the right decision. Because the right success-oriented decision of what you're going to do is meaningless today. It doesn't seem like it's going to make a difference. But compounded on a daily basis makes all the difference in the world. Why do you think success is limited to the 5% versus 95%? In fact, I have this theory, and you guys know when I do the numbers in my videos about the numbers of people that do 20,000 and above issue paid in our business is only about 2.7%. And the numbers of people that do 15,000 issue paid and above is probably another 2.7%. So it's about 4 to 5% of the people that are six-figure income and above. I believe that's at, yeah, if you did 15,000, for sure you'd be six-figure income. If you did, yes, 10 to 15, it might even be a little bit lower than that. But the bottom line is the people that make bigger money, okay, because today six figures isn't, you know, what it's all cracked up to be. But heck, man, if you're not making six figures, man, let's start there. So that's only about 5%. Really, when I think about it, it's like 5-6%. Okay, so why is it like that? Why is it like that? I don't know. But it's 5%. So it's kind of like the 20-80 rule to the second order of magnitude. In other words, 20-80 to 20-80 is about 4 or 5%. In other words, you hear about the 20-80, 20% do 80% of the production, 20% are the most successful. But if you take the 20% of that 20%, okay, it's that, I'll draw it out for you. Okay, so the pyramid, I love pyramids. Have I told you how much I love pyramids? 80% and the 20%. Okay, so if you take this 20% and magnify it, okay, the 20%, the 80% of the 20%, okay, this little square here, when you pull this one here, is about 4%. Okay, this little is where, really kind of where rubber hits the road of success and failure. It's really about 4 or 5%. So why are the 4 or 5% successful and the 95% are not? Okay, and he talks about it in here in The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. All right, that because there's only 5% of people out there that learn, okay, to become successful by doing the daily things. Okay, and it's a learned thing. You learn to do it. It's a planned event, right? Here's why successful people, like, you ever hear lottery winners, people that win the lottery? You never hear about a wealthy person winning the lottery, right? You never really hear about someone who's successful in life already winning a lottery ticket. Typically, it's the steel worker, it's the laborer, it's, you know, someone who, you know, kind of maybe a low-income person. Why? How come successful people are not buying lottery tickets? Because they know that life is not a lottery. Success is not a lottery ticket, right? They're not waiting for their big break. They're not thinking, if only if I won the lottery, if I only won the lottery, if I only had time, if I only had more money, if I only. And they don't live their life thinking that once they get the big break, they're going to be successful. Because, gang, the big break is a fallacy. The big break's a veil. If you're waiting for the big break, it will never happen. You make your big break by preparing yourself for success. How do you prepare yourself for success? You do the daily things every day that successful people do, so that when the opportunity hits, they're ready. Right? You create opportunity by preparing yourself for success. You don't become successful by waiting for the big break to happen in your life, right? You're the one that creates it. That's the beautiful thing about this. So What does it mean to do? What's the power of compounding decisions, compounding the right decisions, the billionth of a volt decision to read a book? Okay, well, it's the penny a day doubled. Okay, so if I gave you a choice, okay, if I gave you a choice of giving you $1,000,000 today, or giving you the choice of a penny a day doubled every day, at the end of 30 days, which one would have the most money? Now, by virtue of asking the question, you think, oh, that's a trick question. Well, it ain't a trick question. You deal with this decision every day, by the way, gang. You think, well, that's easy because it sounds like a trick question, so I would rather have a penny a day doubled. And you have no idea why. You'll know that maybe it's more than $1,000,000. Well, absolutely, because compounding works in your advantage. But compounding works because of time, okay? Because of time, compounding works. Okay, so like after day one you get 2 cents. So you doubled 1 cent into 2 cents on day one, right? Woo! Get fired up, because your compadre took the $1,000,000, and he's thinking of ways to spend it, to invest it, to leverage it. Get fired up for him. Okay, and he's like feeling sorry for you because you made the wrong decision. Okay, so a week later, day 7, you have a whole whopping $1.28. Get fired up, man. And your guy's laughing at you because he's made all these investments and all these high-priced, high-leverage stock things, you know. And then by day 14, 2 weeks later, you have $163.84. Again, man, you know this is going to work because you have a calculator. You did your spreadsheet. Of course you know it's going to work. But your guy's thinking you made the wrong decision. By day 21, okay, it's getting a little bit better, $20,971.52. Woohoo! 3 weeks into the deal, you got 20 grand, almost $21,000, and your buddies had got 3 weeks with $1 million. Okay, but by day 30, you have $10,737,418.24. And your buddy's probably lost 500,000, you know, fees that he's paid, okay, because the market crashed, or the market dipped. But you got $10,737,418.24. That's the power of compounding. Okay. Let me tell you what you lose. The power of loss. The power of loss is incredible. I was telling Patrick this morning. I was talking to Patrick. He did the Baltimore meeting. And he has this book too, but he hasn't read it yet. And I go, dude, you got to read it because it works perfect with what we're talking about here, delayed gratification. Okay, and that's really the essence of this talk is delayed gratification and doing the right things every day. So it's the cost of waiting. Okay, so let me tell you the cost of waiting. So you got 2 people. Okay, again, it's you and your friend. Okay, starting at age 24. So what you do is you decide, you know, I got $2,000 extra a year. I'm going to put in an IRA at a average interest rate, compounding interest rate. So you do $2,000 a year for the next 6 years. $2,000. That's all you do. You make an investment, $2,000 for 6 years. Okay, but your friend decides to blow that money, whatever, and he decides to wait till he's 30. So after you've made all the investments that you want to make, he decides to start making the investment 6 years later at age 30. Okay, but you've stopped. So you stopped when he started. Excuse me. So he makes the 2,000 in year 30, 31, 32. Every year, 40, 41, 42. Every year, 50, 51, 52. All the way up through age 62. So he's made a $2,000 investment in his IRA for every year from age 30 to 62, and all you did was do $2,000 for 6 years from age 24 to age 29. And so do you want to know how much by the age 65, when they both plan on retiring, do you know how much you'll have in your account versus what he has in his account? And you've invested only 6 years, and he'd invest year 30 to 62, 32 years, 33 years, 32 years, you will have $1,074,968 in your account, and in his account he'll have $1,085,197. So he beat you. He beat you at the end because he's got about $10,000 more. Woohoo! But look what he put in. He put in 32 years worth of $2,000 a year, and all you did was 6 years at the beginning. That's the cost of waiting to do something. And that works like that in your life. It's the old adage, you pay me now or you pay me later, baby. You pay me now, you pay me later. Right? So the whole penny doubled it every day. Okay, so let's take that concept and put it on the shelf. If you don't understand compounding, let's just think about adding. Let's think of just adding to who you already are. Do you think you can make 0.3 of 1% daily improvement that you add every day? 0.3 of 1%, that's 0.003 everyday improvement. Do you know that if you just improve by 0.3 of 1% every day of what you're doing, decisions you're making, that by the end of the year you'll have doubled who you are. You'll have doubled your knowledge, doubled your finances, doubled everything, doubled your spiritual life, doubled your relationship. If you just make that small paltry 0.003 investment in yourself every day. See, greatness is measured by the moment, or the greatness is done by the moment that the decision made in the moment, and it's measured over the course of time. That's how you can use time to your advantage, or you can use time for your disadvantage if you don't take advantage of doing that decision every day. Okay, I covered that. Okay, so let's talk about the 7 principles that he talks about in this book. The 7 principles of implementing this idea of making these little small slight edge decisions every day. The first principle is just showing up, man. You just got to show up. You got to be there. You got to be there. You got to show up. What Woody Allen said, 80% of success is just showing up, man. You know, remember in school, you get credit for just putting your name on the paper, on the test. Okay, you get credit for that. You know, or it's partial credit for coming up with a solution. Partial credit, man. I always want to get credit for something. And if you just show up, you get credit. I'm telling you, it doesn't take much. Because think about how many people are not on this call. There's a whole bunch of people not listening to this. And I don't know if this is going to change your life. I pray that it is. But I know there's one person out of 30 people on this call that's going to make a difference to. See, there's going to be one person after this call that's going to order this book. There's going to be one person on this call that decides to change their life right now by writing things down that they're going to do different. Okay, there's one person on this call. If I can just affect one person, there might be more. But who is that person? Is it you? Well, you have a chance, gang. Bro, you have a chance. Sister, you have a chance because you're here. Think about all those other people, I don't know, on my unlicensed list and licensed list, I must have 200, 300, 400, actually 400, I believe, on my email blast. Now, out of 400, I have 30 people decided to be here. You get credit for showing up, all right? And maybe it's just showing up that you'll hear it enough times that you'll decide to do something. At least be here. At least you're here. Thank God you're here. Because it might just take a little fertilizing of the soil, and then next week you come back and something else happened in your life, something good, something bad, and then you come back and you hear me talking, or we have a guest speaker talking about something else, and then boom, it hits you, right? But it wouldn't happen unless you came to the first conference call and heard what you needed to hear there. That just kind of fertilized your mind. You didn't know it did that. But then something else happened the next conference call that totally put the pieces of the puzzle together, and then the whole picture happened. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's what I needed to hear because Alex said this, and then this guest speaker said this, and then boom, you put it together. It's like peanut butter and jelly, baby. It's like Reese's peanut butter cup, man. Chocolate and peanut butter. Okay? It all comes together. And the things added together create that explosion of a decision where your life changes. So showing up, man, you just got to show up. Be here. Be with the people that you have an opportunity to hear something that will make that little incremental change in what you decide to do today in the moment that will change the rest of your life. Oh my gosh. Show up, number one. Number two, be consistent. Be consistent. Okay, so let's combine the two together. Showing up consistently. Showing up consistently. Going to a hotspot consistently. Reading a book consistently. Like, could you imagine if you, how long does it take to read 10 pages of a book? 15 minutes? Okay, if you select the big type on your Kindle, okay, it only takes 15 minutes. Let's say 20 minutes. You got 20 minutes in your day, in your busy day. Man, you sit on the can for probably 20 minutes a day. And if you just have that book where you're sitting on the can, okay, you can knock out 10 pages. You know what I mean? It's a one page. How fast can you read one page? 2 minutes? So one page every hour for the next 10 hours. Whatever. But if you did that every day, do you think by the end of the year, you'll probably have read 12 good books. You've learned something. You put good stuff in your head that you will make a difference in your life, that you'll make a change in what you do every day. 10 pages every day. So consistent, being consistent doing it. Consistency will always yield results. Okay, consistency is just a little bit like we talked about getting on the cruise. Turning in business every week will get you on that cruise or on that trip, whatever the trip is in 2016. Just doing a little bit every day. How many people were successful at crashing studying? Like you blew off like 26 chapters of history, and then you have the final, and you read the introduction and the conclusion paragraphs of every chapter to prepare for the final. Does that sound like I know? That sounds like I know what to do? Yes, that was me. That was me. If I only did chapter readings every homework assignment, I'd be ready with minimal studying, right? It's just a little bit every day. But I was always the one to pull an all-nighter. Man, that's why I did okay in school, but I didn't do great. The guys that were getting A's were the ones that didn't seem to work hard. Why didn't they work hard? Because they did a little bit every day. They're consistent. So be consistent. How do you be consistent? You're consistent in picking up the phone and dialing to book appointments during your weekly scheduled time. You're consistent every week doing that. You're consistent showing this business plan every week. I say this all the time, man. Do you see yourself working, selling life insurance, going up to homes, getting no-showed till you're 80 years old? I mean, is that something in your future? Because if it ain't, what's your game plan not to have to do that? Well, your game plan is to build a business where you can develop override residual income that will keep coming back month after month, year after year. Okay, so the only way to do that is showing the plan and showing it to a new set of eyeballs, to a new person for them to decide whether it's for them or not. If you're doing that every week, I promise you, you will build a huge business, huge, which means hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars every year of money that keeps coming in whether you're there or not. It's the passive income, baby. That's why I love this. I love this shape. This shape rocks in a positive way. Actually, what this is this is a reverse pyramid, because my business depends on me doing the right things, right? I support everyone in my business by what I do and what I don't do, okay? And so the only way that this pyramid can operate, this pyramid, is it's upside down. It's on me doing the right things and being duplicated by all of you. See how this works? It's a reverse pyramid, okay? And if I can get it to stand upside down, man, I'd be a genius. All right? So be consistent. Consistency yields results. Number 3, have a good attitude. Remember, you control your attitude and your action. Okay? Having your attitude, a good attitude, will affect your feelings, which then affects your actions, which affects results. And a bad attitude doing the same thing will yield poor results. A good attitude doing the same thing will yield positive results. Okay, you choose the attitude that you have. Okay, and it's physical too, gang. It is a physical thing. You know, if you look down and you start thinking about stuff looking down, you think about the past. It's a body language thing. You think about the past looking down, but when you look up, man, you think about the future. You think about the future. You think about awesome stuff happening up there. That's why hell is down here and heaven's up there, if you know what I mean, right? I like to think about heaven. So I have my head up thinking about heaven because I think God's up there somewhere. And that's why they said rapture is in the clouds. Last time I saw clouds were up there, not down here. So get your head up from where hell is and look up to heaven, man. Get fired up about your future. You know what I'm saying? Because it's up there. Have a good attitude. How do you have a good attitude? Get rid of the negative associations in your life and increase positive associations with positive people. People that care about you. But Alex, my family cares about me. Yes, they do. They have to. Because they want you to take care of them when they're old. Okay? I'm just kidding. But they love you, but they don't know how to love you in a positive way. Sometimes you've got the most negative associations with your own family. Well, what do you got to do? You love them, you care about them, but you know what? It's crabs in the bucket. You put one crab, they'll figure out how to get in the bucket, but you put 2 crabs, 3 crabs, I promise you, they'll all pull each other down. Your family loves you, but that doesn't mean they're going to help you. Okay, those two are 2 separate things. Helping you become successful and loving you are 2 separate things. So if they're negative to you, you spend less time with them and more time with the people that care about you and are a positive influence on your life. The power of association, getting around the positive people. The other thing too about attitude is you get to choose your attitude whether things are going good or things are going bad. The worst thing you can do is your attitude being determined by whether things are going good in your life or bad in your life. It's controlling that emotion that affects what you do. Now, it's okay to feel bad. You got to embrace the funk, baby. Embrace the funk, right? And I'm not talking about 70s disco, 70s funk, which I'm into, by the way. I'm into funk, guitar playing, you know, the scratching and all that. I'm talking about that kind of funk, right? Get down with the funk. I'm talking about embrace the funk in your life. Man, this life is not designed to be happy all the time, right? See, this man here on the cross who took care of me and saved me, he walked the road to Calvary, okay? Or is it Calvary? He suffered. Okay, why would my life be any different? He said, take up your cross. I got to take up my cross every day. It doesn't mean everything's going to be great. The thing is not reacting to the bad stuff, but embracing and knowing that's part of life, man. You don't know the sunshine without the rain, right? You don't know when you're going through the springtime of your life, but you got to go through the winter of your life. Everything has a contrast and a purpose because perspective is everything. Like, how can you teach anybody if everything you did in this business was perfect, that you got 100% placement, 100% persistency, you made $10,000 a month consistently by not working hard, and then you rose up all the way to EVP by no challenges? It's like, golly, man. The only person who want to read your book is you. Because you wouldn't be related to anybody in the entire universe. See, embrace the funk, okay? Because it happens to all of us, but don't let the funk cause you to make the wrong decision in the moment. The wrong decision in the moment. Okay? The next principle, be committed for a long period of time. Okay? Be committed for a long period of time. Gang, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Your life is a marathon, not a sprint. But act as if it's a sprint for a long period of time. Okay, does that make sense? Right? Here's a book, Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book called Outliers. And in the book, he talks about that if you poll any expert in their field, subject matter expert, they accumulated that expertise over the course of 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours of dedication to that particular discipline, that craft, 10,000 hours. It takes a long time to be good at anything, right? So be committed that the victory happens in the long term, not the short term. We don't live in the long term. We don't live in the short term. We live right now. But what you do today will affect what you do in the long term, what you achieve in the long term. All right? So be committed for a long period of time. I always say this, gang, I can show you by finding 6 other committed people that you can get to EVP making $1.2 million a year over the course of X years. You fill in the X by how consistent you are and how hard you work consistently. Now, let me ask you, if that took you 20 years to make $1.2 million, is that okay? Because when you find 3, you'll be making $500,000. When you find 4, you'll be probably making $750,000. When you find 6, $1.2 million. Like, how many of you all are on a plan where you will make money for sure? Okay, it's not a get rich quick, it's a get rich for sure deal if you do the consistent things over a span of time. We all want it in the next 3 years, but if it took 5 years, if it took 7 years, it will happen. But be committed for the long period of time. If you look at anyone that's been with us for a long period of time, they're making a lot of money. Guys have been with us 4, 5, 6, 7 years, a lot of money, right? More money than they would have made if they got in and quit. Think about all the things you got in and quit, got in and quit, got in and quit, right? The next one, the next principle is have a burning desire and to have faith. A burning desire. Napoleon Hill talks about Think and Grow Rich. Hold on. Okay, this is the Mac Daddy book of success, Think and Grow Rich. He talks about having a definite purpose and stealing your mind away from distractions, a definite major purpose, a burning desire, and have faith in the things that you're doing that you're learning from us will help you get the thing that burns within you to achieve. That burning desire, have a burning desire, your why, the thing that propels you. Another great book on the why. Notice I'm going to my, I just saw it, called The Power of Why. Start with why. Simon Sinek, start with why. All starts here, right? Definite major purpose here, start with why. All this book says is you got to have one, and you got to start there. This tells you a whole bunch of other ways to get it. Start with why. Having burning desire and have faith. The next one is you got to be willing to pay the price, gang. In what universe do you think that you'll ever walk a different road than any of us or any of the successful people in life? Everyone has a story. If you read biographies of successful people, you will find a thread that is the same. It was overcoming challenges consistently over time to get to where they are today. It happens for common people. The only reason why the 5% is lauded for everything they've done is because they did what common people are unwilling to do, what's unsuccessful people are unwilling to do. They string that life together of overcoming challenges, hanging around the right people, reading the right books, getting the proper association, and working every day, consistently to be where they're at. That's why they're the 5%. Everyone on this call can be that 5%. Man, if you are willing to pay the price, your price is different than mine, but it's still less a price that has to be paid. How dare you have the arrogance to think that you're going to be paying any less of a price than I did to get where I'm at? How dare you? I would, there ain't no shortcuts, all right? There are, for those of you that are more intellectual than me, there are no shortcuts. There not exist in this world a shortcut to success. Your road is there. The road is for you. You got to walk your road, man. Be willing to pay whatever price. Man, you go to a Coke machine and it's $1 to get the Coke out. You put 99 cents in. Are you gonna, and you press the button, are you gonna get the Coke? No, baby. Even 99 cents of $1 won't get you the Coke. But that last penny that you put in there will get you the Coke. Are you willing to go up to 99 cents and then do everything you can to put the last penny in to get that Coke out? See, because a lot of y'all, a lot of you, okay, I'm not talking to people in Virginia because they understand y'all, will go up to 99 cents and think, you're thinking it's going to cost another dollar, $1.99. And so you quit too prematurely. You don't know that it's that last penny, that last little bit of effort, that last little bit of faith, that last little bit of work that'll put you over to the dollar that it takes. See, we don't know the full price. You just have to be willing to pay the full price, and then it doesn't matter what it costs, does it? See, if you're willing to pay whatever it costs, you'll get it. But if you keep measuring, and then you keep measuring, and you don't get results. You keep measuring, you don't get results. And you're just down to the last 99 cents, and all you need is a penny, and you decide to quit. It's like when you recruit for 3 months and you don't see anything out of it, you quit. When you didn't know is that 3 months hardened you, steeled you, taught you, and that next 3 months is where you find your three winners to get you to 500,000. You have no idea, but you got to be willing to do whatever the price is. Then at that point, it doesn't matter where it's $2, but what you'll find if you're willing to pay the full price, that $1 is all it took. That one last penny, because you got to 99 cents. You know what I'm saying? Be willing to pay the price. The next principle is integrity. What is integrity? Integrity is doing what you know you're supposed to do when no one's watching you. When you're not going to get lauded at the front of a meeting, by the big people in the business that happen to be at that meeting. And you still do it because the big people aren't there anymore. You show up and, oh man, there's nobody to see how great I am. Well, And they're not coming next week, so I'm not going to work this week because they're not going to be next week to see how great I am, to get the glory. It's like, bro, you are not doing it for the right reasons. Give me a break. You're just doing it for recognition? Well, then that's just going to be fleeting. When have you ever done anything just for recognition that ever sustained? Because your good feeling only comes from feeding your ego. And anything done purely to feed your ego never sustains. Look at musicians who purely did it for ego, the one-hit wonders, as opposed to musicians who did it for the art of the music, did it because it was what they were supposed to do, did it regardless of the money. They could care less if they were busking on a street for dollars playing music, or they got a big record contract, right, by Virgin Records, making gazillion dollars. Didn't matter. It was the art. Musicians did it for ego, weren't around, baby. Integrity, doing what you have to do when no one's looking. How about this? Doing what you committed to do, doing what you said to do, doing what you promised your family to do, your spouse, doing what you said you were going to do for your spouse, and continuing to do it long after the feeling, the passion, the emotion that caused you to say you're going to do it is gone. Well, I know, honey, I told you we get that thing, we get that cruise, but man, you know what? I just wasn't feeling it yesterday. I wasn't feeling it today, and I don't know if I'm going to feel it tomorrow. But I promise you, when I feel it, I promise you I'll work. Because when I feel it, I'll make it happen. It's like, bro, that ain't integrity. What's the opposite of integrity? Hypocrisy. Hypocrisy was one of the greatest sins in the Bible. I mean, if you ever looked at what Jesus said about hypocrites, He rails against hypocrites, but he's kind to prostitutes. He's kind to the downtrodden. He's kind to the sick, kind to the lame, kind to taxpayers. Oh my God. Or to tax collectors. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine being kind to tax collectors? I love the IRS. Okay. I love the IRS. That to me is ultimate in kindness. Being kind to a tax collector. But man, he doesn't have any patience for hypocrites. Right? Hypocrites. When you beat your chest, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be this and I'm, and then you don't back it up by doing it. That's hypocrisy, baby. And I don't ever want to be accused of the worst sin in the Bible, hypocrisy. Saying one thing and doing another. Not being congruent inside you with what you know you need to do, the integrity about doing it. Man, it's what you do when no one's watching. All right, so let's finish up with this. How do you make the decision? How do you make these daily decisions easier? You guys know that I'm big on Goals, the book Goals by Brian Tracy, and the book Self-Talk Solution by Shad Helmstetter. You put these two books together, gang, and this is a winning combination. These books will change your life. Because my video on speaking what you want, not what you have, and my video on goals, you put these two together, and I promise you, the daily decisions to become successful for the rest of your life will happen easier. Because that building the football decision, because of these two things that you implement, speaking what you want, not what you have, and putting goals in place, the GPS to your future, doing this and this, you can have whatever it is you want. Because you will do the little bit of the volt decision to do that thing every day, the easy thing to do or not do. Every day, every week, every month, every year. And when you look back on 5 years from now, a year, 10 years from now, 1 year from now, you'll think, oh my gosh, I can't believe where I'm at. Do you know why you'll say that? Because you'll have read these books, all three of these books, you'll have read these three, and you'll have implemented what they teach you. And then you do it every day. That's it. So my question for you all listening to this is, are you going to order the books? Self-Talk Solution by Shad Helmstetter, H-E-L-M, Stetter, 2 T's, Stetter, two T's, T-T-E-R, Stetter, Helmstetter. Goals by Brian Tracy. Goals with an exclamation point. Goals! And then The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. You mix these three books together. Just mix it together. Mix it together with your big mixing stick in your head, and you will make all the difference in the world for your future. I promise you, man. A year from now, you can come back and tell me it didn't work because you did it every day. Tell me that it didn't work, man. But what I predict is that you will tell me that, oh my God, Alex, thank you. I would never be here today making 10 times more than I ever made, where I've got the best relationships with my family. I got the best relationships with my upline, downline, with my group. I have never thought I'd ever be here with my life. But because of what I learned a year ago from you, because that day, Alex, that day on the 4th of September, 2014, I went ahead and I got the book Self-Talk Solutions. I got the book Goals, and I got the book The Slight Edge, and I started reading them. I got done with all three of them in a week because I was fired up. And then I started implementing every day those things. And man, my life has never been the same. And I'm fired up where I'm going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and at the end of my life, So I get to hear my Lord say, well done, good and faithful servant. Rock on, gang. We're done, man. That's it. That's all I got for you. Said all the words in my head. And I went long. Sorry. That's what happens when you get fired up. So thanks, everybody, for being on the call. I appreciate it.